It's the Seth Williams Show with Mike CHESELKA. And here's your host, Seth Williams and Mike CHESELKA.
Wow, yes indeed. Welcome to another Wednesday night. How are you, Mike?
Well, 4 days into 2023. Still got this cough.
I was going to say, man.
Jesus.
2023 is off to a roaring start, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
You were sick. I've been sick.
Yep.
Still trying to get this voice thing going. It's unbelievable.
Yep. And it's not just us.
I was going to say, 2023 for us, being a little bit sick, I guess isn't that bad. You got guys falling over on a football field. You got actors getting crushed by snowplows.
Yeah, it's not a nice place. And it's 57 degrees outside.
I know, and it's supposed to snow this weekend.
I know. 2 weeks ago, it was 4 below. It's 57 today, and in 2 weeks, it's going to be 4 below again. I just love Ohio.
Yeah, this is something. This is really something.
So,
I don't know what to expect out of tonight's show, to be honest with you. We got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
Our restaurant reporter, Tony Musachio, will be checking in just a little bit. He's going to be live from another restaurant in Broadview Heights.
Cool.
Royal Breakfast and More. Actually, I think I've been there one time, and it was pretty good. So he'll talk about that place. We got Joe Burdick going to be calling in. He's going to check in. He's been featured in an article on Cleveland.com, so we're going to check it with him.
Good for him.
Custom Flags. Will Spiegelberg going to be calling in with more tickets to give away. And then, of course, we got to talk about NFL player collapsing on the field. And
that was
a lot of different things about this whole event. We'll get into that a little bit later, and we'll take, of course, your calls, your comments. You can do whatever. Leave your messages on Facebook, YouTube, all that kind of stuff.
I still want to hear from everybody at home that is still sticking to all their New Year's resolutions. It is day 4. I'm still interested in people that have predictions or prognostications as far as 2023 goes. Yeah. I'm still interested in people talking about, we just came out of the holidays and everything else. So, what's everybody's wishes for anything and whatever you want to get off your chest, comments on what you want to see us talk about, et cetera, et cetera. Just watch the crawl at the bottom of the screen and either join us live or use the Wolf Creek message line and send us some ideas.
Absolutely. I've actually posted the link where people can join the show if they want to. But I do want to start off real quick by just getting something off my chest, if you will.
Go ahead.
I'm not going to get into certain topics tonight because I know it'll get us banned and all that kind of stuff. You can see it behind me, but I'm not going to talk about that stuff tonight.
Right.
Excuse me. Again, this cold thing is just kind of lingering on. So I'm not going to get into certain things tonight. But I am going to say this. The reason why we started this show was because we kind of wanted to try to bring people together. The right side, the left side. Now, I'm not sure that it's possible. I really am not. I'm not sure that it's even close to being possible because there are way too many ignorant, stupid people out there. And I'm not trying to be mean.
No, it's true, though.
But here's the problem. It's tearing people apart. It's tearing families apart.
Yeah.
You can't question things without being called stupid by people that you love. You can't question science. You can't question the government. You can't question anything without being called stupid. And if you have a shred of evidence that might be true, it might not be true, but it's a different fact. It's a different way of looking at things. Having an open mind, saying, hey, look, not everything is as clear cut as it may seem to you. Here's another side. Look at it.
Right.
Nobody wants to do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to say on either side, Trump is being hailed as the holy of holy. And I've been guilty of that. But on certain things, he was wrong. And I can admit that.
Right.
But there are people out there that cannot just see past their own, whatever it is, political bias, whatever it is, to try to look at another argument. And I don't understand that. I don't understand that closed-mindedness. I've never said something, you're not wrong for the way that you think. I may not agree with it, but there are two sides to everything.
Right. And you and I have proved that together and to everybody listening over and over and over and over again, because, and that was the premise and that was the promise we made to each other when, we started this whole thing and decided to set off on this little venture. But bring everybody at home up to speed. This happened because you happened to make a comment to your own dad.
Right, because we were having a conversation about, again, here's the deal. If we get thrown off of Facebook or YouTube, Spotify, whatever it is, I'm sorry.
We'll find you. We'll be back.
Watch the show on Odyssey. You can watch the show on the SETHWilliamsShow.com. But, when you talk about vaccines and you talk about, COVID and that kind of thing, look, I have questions. That's all it is. I have questions.
Right.
I don't believe everything that the government tells me. I don't believe everything that the government doctors tell me sometimes. There are different sides to the stories. And all I'm asking for is for people to have a conversation. But you can't even have a conversation without being called stupid. And that's frustrating to me.
And all I'm going to say about that, Seth, is that's why I made the joke a couple weeks ago with you where I said, January 1st, January 2nd, January 3rd, everybody you run into, you make eye contact with, hey, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. You'll open the door for somebody walking into a grocery store. Happy New Year. You'll exchange pleasantries. You'll, see somebody in a parking lot. Happy New Year. You go to church. Happy New Year. By January 4th, we all stop saying that because we look at each other and we think to ourselves, what are we kidding? It's the same old, same old, same old. And half of that reason for most everybody in America is our own families.
And look, I'm certainly not criticizing my own family. I love my family.
No, yeah.
But I'm just asking questions about certain topics. Why aren't I allowed to ask questions without being called stupid?
Questions.
I don't understand that. You can have a difference of opinion.
Right.
I don't care what you do.
And
you want to get the shot, go get the shot. Get 10 of them.
Right. The nature
let me question what I want to question.
Right. The nature of question is it's open-ended and you are still searching for information.
That's all I want. I really want all the information.
Yeah. What drives me nuts is the people that use the following fallacy in logic. That they just assert something with no facts. They assert something with no evidence. They assert something with no logical basis and then sit back and say, okay, now you have to believe that until you prove that I am wrong. No, that's got science back asswards.
Yes.
What you do is you have evidence, you do, empirical studies, you do things, you draw conclusions, you have a sample size. And if we get away from just the opinion that because somebody has a different opinion, they're wrong, it's going to be tough. Look, we're not going to chicken out and we're not going to back off, but it's just going to be a little harder.
I would never sit there and call anybody. I have people on both sides of my family that disagree with some of the things that I say and some of the things I believe.
Right.
I don't think that they're stupid. I don't think they're wrong for what they think. I'm just saying that I have a different opinion and I may have some questions about what's going on. Right. And I don't think it's wrong to question those things. And why do we have to argue about it?
Exactly.
Why can't they say, here are the facts that I've seen? What do you think about that?
And
instead of being made to feel like I'm an idiot, let's have a discussion.
Thank you. And as a classically trained debater, argumentation is not a fight. You can argue for days as long as you're adding information and not making it personal. Then you got a chance to come out and find and get closer to the truth because you're both looking for the same answer. You just might be coming from the north and somebody else is coming from the south, and that's what's going on.
And look, you and I have numerous debates off the air about stuff.
Amen.
Because we don't agree a lot on things. But I've never sat there in the car and said, "You're stupid," or we never shut each other down to the point that we stopped having a conversation.
Right. And
I don't understand it. I just don't get it. I love people that have a different opinion because I love doing this. This is what I like doing. I like talking about it.
Exactly. And the other thing is, you should at least give people credit for the fact that they're interested in what makes things go round and tick and all of that other kind of stuff, because there's all kinds of people that are content to just walk through life and do nothing except eat, drink beer, and shop.
Yeah, James says preach, and then I just kept this up there because I do enjoy his little
no kidding, man.
Little
He's absolutely right.
The Buffalo Bills and the prayer thing. That's good, James.
Yeah, I do too. I do too.
I mean,
the mere fact, like I said,
look, I have no job currently other than this because I can't drive a car yet because I got this stupid no leg thing going on. I'm trying to get that changed, and I would love to be working. But in my free time that I have here, I do some research and I do read a lot of things. And so I'm trying to find answers to questions that I have. I'm researching things that I want to look at. And just because I have a different opinion than some people doesn't mean I'm an idiot. In fact, I might be more of not of an idiot because I'm trying to educate myself and do research.
Thank you.
I'm not just spewing an opinion. I'm giving an educated opinion.
Exactly. I couldn't agree with you more. I couldn't agree with you more. Caring is the first step towards learning, making a difference, and learn. Yeah.
I certainly don't want to argue with my family about stuff, dude. I mean, that's the last thing in the world that I want. My family is the most important thing in the world to me, especially since all this. I've needed my family more than ever. The last thing I want to do is argue. Mark says my sister thought it was a dumb. It was dumb.
Republicans were battling for the speaker.
It kind of is.
Well, it is,
but it isn't.
Because, and as a Democrat, I will tell you, I resent the fact, or let's put it this way, bemoan the fact that the opportunity to reach across the aisle and say, hey, you make some really good points. We will do things really different. And to have both sides come out and say, let's roll up our sleeves and fix things, because that's the whole premise of this show.
Yes.
Neither side is 100% right.
No.
And both sides are showing that ineptitude. When you hear things like there hasn't been an amendment to a bill argued in front of the full House or Senate in 6 years, they ain't working with us or for us, neither side, et cetera, et cetera. So if nothing else comes out of this speakership mess, other than the fact that there are some people saying, let's go back to basics. Let's take the money out of this. Let's make sure we can read the bills before we vote on them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. One step back at a time. And the good ideas that come from you guys listening at home and the sounding board that Seth and I give to both sides on this show, we're all dedicated to making things work for everybody. So once the House gets in line, we'll take it from there.
Natalie says, I speak to everybody. I spoke to a young guy today outside of my apartment building. He came home. He seemed like he liked it. I love to talk to people. That's what I love too.
Amen, man. We got to, and that's the other thing. We got to get back to dialogue and discussion. You don't learn a damn thing from a tweet, and you don't learn enough from a text. You got to look somebody in the eye and talk with them, not at them.
15 Democrats voted against Pelosi. That is true.
It's very true.
Please just listen to the government agenda and both of you parrot it like puppets. That's what we need.
Yeah, right. That ain't going to happen here, man. And I will tell you, in the coming weeks, you're going to read and hear about where the bankers went and how things get funded and what happened when the stock market gave up on everybody that thinks they're players, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
I really hope
research.
I hope that Chris is joking here, because the last thing I do is parrot a government agenda.
Yeah, of course he is. You see the smiley face at the end?
Yeah, okay.
He just likes to sit and throw smiley face than that. But yeah, that's
Scott says, well, it was just Republicans. Right? Or do I have that wrong? Yeah, it's Republicans arguing with themselves at this point.
Well, arguing amongst themselves, but also making points that should be made by both sides. That's why I think the D's are just as much to blame for that. The opportunity is there for every single congressperson, man or woman, Republican or Democrat, independent, whatever, to sit there and look and say, We know that campaign financing and too much money and lobbyists are what's wrong here. Let's kick them all out of our house and start over. That would be a breath of fresh air, make everybody feel good again about what was going on.
The problem is that they're doing what most people do in families even today.
Yeah.
We talked about earlier, they just call each other stupid and then go the other direction.
Right off the bat.
And if that's what is going to happen, we are in for a long process here. We got Tony Musachio.
All right.
On the line. Tony.
Hey, how are you guys? I am at Royal Breakfast and More, located at 500 Royalton Road in Broadview Heights. As you can see, I'm with Saeed here, and we are making chicken paprikash with dumplings.
For breakfast.
This look great, guys.
So that's not the Royal Breakfast. That's the more part, dude, huh?
This is the more part. Exactly right. I was just going to say that, Mike. The coolest part about this is you can come here. They're open 7 days a week, 8 o'clock until 2 p.m., breakfast and lunch. And the beauty is you can have this chicken paprikash at 8 in the morning, or you can have, Seth, listen to this, a cheeseburger at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Nice.
Isn't this great?
Now, so, I'm not going to lie to you, Tony. I have actually been to Royal Breakfast. I had a wrap there, I believe, and my wife had a seafood omelet, and it was all fantastic.
Yes, and look at this presentation. What's on the top of that lettuce right there are edible flowers.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. I remember they had that on my plate, too. That was really good. Yeah.
So this is really cool. I'm going to actually walk into the dining room. Well, let me just show you this real quick. Look at the presentation on this pancake. They didn't just make this for me on the presentation, guys. This is how it comes.
Move your thumb. You're blocking it there.
There you go. Yeah, we can see that.
Can you see that? Is that beautiful?
Yeah.
So as I said, this is made for everybody when you order, whether it be pancakes or you order their waffles. Look at this presentation. It's like a fine dining restaurant that is open, again, 7 days a week. This was formerly a Chinese restaurant, which, again, they've only been open for about 4 months here. So after they cleaned all the soy sauce off the walls, it came out pretty good.
Yeah. Hey, Tony, let me ask you, you too, Seth, do you ever get the taste for breakfast at dinner time?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no doubt.
Absolutely.
Every once in a while, man, it's just like, I want ham and eggs. I want, and by the same token, to be able to go to a place like you're at and get a cheeseburger at 8 o'clock in the morning, that's fabulous too, especially since some people work all night. So if you put 8 hours in, you're not locked into oatmeal. Get yourself a cheeseburger, go home and sleep good.
Yeah.
Scott says that's no IHOP. Looks good.
No kidding, man.
And to them, it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I agree, Mike. That's very true. It's no different than we used to go out drinking, though, 3 o'clock in the morning and then have breakfast or have dinner. At,
somebody's asking, please
across the city.
Give us the name and address of this place again. Somebody else already wants to go there.
Perfect. So again, it's called Royal Breakfast and More, located at 500 East Royalton Road. Don't mistake this for Royal Lunch, which is down the road. Which is in North Royalton. Unfortunately, the name is the street. It's Royalton Road. They both called it Royal. So again, there's no affiliation. One is in Broadview Heights, which is the one that I am at. They have 150 seats in here. They also have catering. They have soup that is made every day. And Seth, as you had said, what's cool about this place, everything's made from scratch.
Yeah.
Everything is made from scratch.
Can you get a big quart size or couple quart size large to go soup and take it home with you?
You can. And this chicken paprikash, you can get to go, Mike, whatever. You can get a 50-gallon drum if you want. They'll make it for you.
Tony always finds great places to go to. But I got to say, man, after 25 years of driving all over this country and eating in all 50 states, we're blessed here. We got to put up with the winter and all that other kind of stuff. We are blessed here because there is some great eating here in Northeast Ohio. There just is.
Mike, it's not only great eating, we have the greatest cost of living for these places too. I mean, you
True.
go to New York City, this burger
Oh.
that I am showing you right now, that's $25.
You
It's
got
under
that right.
It's under $12 here. This vegetable bowl, it is completely filled with veggies, cheese, spinach, avocado, 2 sunny side eggs, as you can see, with a little cheese on top. I am getting you guys salivating like Pavlov's dogs.
Yeah, and we put you on at 5:15, and then for another hour and 45 minutes, I got to sit there with my stomach growling. From now on, you're on at like 10 minutes to 7, dude.
Mike, here's another great thing. They have a beer and wine license, mimosas, early in the morning.
Nice.
Very inexpensive too, which is really cool. And the staff is wonderful here. They have 3 chefs that are in the back house. And what's nice about it, they have experience of chefs in this place of over 70 years.
Wow.
That's unheard of. 70 years.
I will say this too. They are handicap friendly because I was there in my wheelchair months ago, and I thought, I was able to get in easy and sit down. It was great. We had a great time there.
Nice.
And it's right across in a plaza, across from like Handles and Boneyard, right?
Yes, right, exactly. Seth, so the landmark is right here by Route 82 and Broadview Road. It's right in the shopping center here. It's next to Coffee Club.
Yeah.
As I said, they've only been open for about 4 months. They are really doing a great job here because there's no other breakfast place in the area. This is one of those places where it's worth the trip. 71 is right down the street and 77 is on the other side of the street. So it's not far from the chains, which obviously have the Bob Evans down the street. And, you got to make sure you take care of these local guys.
You do. Yeah. You just do. The
family own another restaurant or no?
Say that again?
Did they own another restaurant or no? Because
they did. Actually, they've had other ones in Mansfield. They've had some out of town. Actually, John Dady that owns it he's from Egypt. Actually, there are 3 guys that are from Egypt. So, and that's where you get the Mediterranean flair here. So you not only can get American food, you can get grape leaves here. You can get falafel. Dude. Mike, isn't this wonderful?
Yeah, you're making me hungry.
I find some great gems.
You really do. This place been open 4 months, and you already found it, and you're reporting on it, dude. You're just
and I did my show here about a month ago, and I got to tell you, I fell in love with it. I became a regular now, and I even told John, I said, if I can just get you a couple people here to turn into a regular every day, guess what that does? It pays for utilities.
Bingo.
Yeah. And that's what we want to do. I mean, that's our whole feature here with us.
My dad had his own restaurants, and I'll say hats off to you for pushing family places, because anybody that's like puts their heart and soul into opening a place and doing their best and stuff like that, and then has to hope that everybody supports them and not go to the chains. God bless. I wish them luck.
Yeah, and you know what, Mike? That's a great point. And people don't realize, to get this store open, as it said, they had to clean the place up. There was a $250,000 bill to get all the chairs and to get the new equipment. So, and that's not unusual in this industry because that's the low end.
Yeah.
There's a place that we're going to be talking about down the street, which is called Fire 45. It's been a white elephant. Everything that's opened up there is literally not done very well. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Huh.
So he rebuilt it, added on to the place. He bought it for $600,000, put another $600,000 into it.
Wow.
That's before you pour a beer.
Amen.
So again, and
you're in Broadview Heights. I grew up there, man. My dad had all the Angie's Pizzas at one time. The Kanicki family had it now, and Joe Christopher and all that stuff. So, but back in 1955, the year I was born, that's when we started Angie's. So restaurants in Broadview Heights are kind of close to my heart.
Very cool. So,
and they got a huge menu there, don't they?
They do. They actually have 115 items on the menu.
Oh my gosh.
That's the more and the more and the more. Can you imagine that? I mean, most of these menus after the pandemic is a handful of 5, 6, maybe 10 items, a couple entrees, and some sides. Yeah, so I got to give them credit. Just like this, you don't walk into a diner like this and be able to find a chicken paprikash and grape leaves on the same menu.
No kidding.
Chicken paprikash is fantastic.
It does. It really does. So,
sweet.
Hey, guys, so let me just mention my place. I'm going to be obviously every Saturday morning. You can listen to me live on 1490 WERE AM. You can just click listen live and hear me at 10 a.m. I do 2 segments between 10 o'clock and 11, and I usually recap places like I am doing right here at Royal Breakfast and More. Hey, let me leave you with this. In Oklahoma, this happened a few months ago. I don't know if you remember reading this on the internet, but 2 semis collided on the highway, and one of them was carrying sex toys. It spilled the entire contents across the freeway. This is a whole new meaning to the injury lawyers. Who in the hell they're going to screw? I'll see you.
Jeez.
Thank you, Tom.
Nice, Tony.
I'll talk to you guys next Wednesday.
Bye.
I'll see you next Wednesday because you're on Wednesdays. You're with us. We're
Thank
glad
you,
to
Tom.
have you.
Bye-bye. I'll tell you what, that's a hell of a segment, but Royal Breakfast and More.
You can
They're
vouch
on,
for it too?
Royalton Road. I've been there, and it's really good, man.
Wow.
It really is. And I haven't been there. I went there when they first opened up. So it's been a while since I've been there, and I was still, like I said, in a wheelchair. But my wife and I had a nice breakfast there. It's not expensive, and it's comfortable. It's a good place. So, yeah. But I will say this. He's right. You could tell it was a Chinese restaurant when you walk in.
Really?
Because they still have remnants, like the big board in the background, looks like the all of China on it and stuff. So you can definitely tell it was a Chinese restaurant. But they've done a great job with that place.
Cool.
And it is very, very good.
I'm hungry.
I used to order breakfast all the time when we go out to eat for dinner because I'm not crazy about cooking it.
Wow.
I used to work at Bob Evans when I was a kid, like 16 years old, and I would get pancakes and stuff for dinner all the time, and I loved it. But now I have no leg, so probably not a good idea.
I love to cook. But I'm hungry.
Do you cook a lot of breakfast stuff?
Oh yeah. I worked at Alice's restaurant in Malibu back in the day. I could probably make eggs breakfast for you every day for a year, and you'd never have the same thing twice.
That's awesome. So I used to work at my best job cooking was at Hooters in the Flats, and I was a maestro.
Wow.
On the fryer and on the grill.
Cool.
But yeah, so I was pretty good with that.
Oh, my girlfriend just does eggs and breakfast and one of our favorite things to do together is just make something up in the kitchen together. We eat good. We do.
You like to scramble her eggs?
Yeah, I do. And she likes to fry my bacon, so it's even.
Nice. I was going to say something about your sausage, but I'm not going to.
Yeah, well.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Joe Burdick is going to join us in just a few. We're going to get into the whole thing about the NFL player collapsing on the field. We'll get into that a little bit.
That's coming.
And a whole lot more. So just keep hanging with us.
What separates Triv's restaurant in Strongsville from everybody else? Some restaurants you go to eat the same thing over and over and over. But then there are restaurants like Triv's, where you want to go there every single time and eat something different until you have eaten every single item on the menu. Why? Because the food's delicious, and it has been for almost a quarter of a century. Triv's has amazing food, outstanding service, and an opportunity for you to have private dining, special events, and intimate occasions. You can enjoy a memorable fine dining experience in your own dedicated, intimate space. Visit Triv's in the heart of Strongsville. Call now for reservations, 440-238-8830. Triv's in Strongsville. Joe Burdick custom flags are amazing. Each flag is handcrafted to reflect the imperfect perfection, making each piece of patriotic wall art unique. This is a local small business, veteran-owned and proud. Joe Burdick creates symbolic artwork that is built to last. Display your spirit, pride, and patriotism by calling 440-305-2065 and let Joe's flag serve you. 440-305-2065. Joe Burdick Flags. Let me introduce you to Charlie's Auto Repair. Any car, any truck, any problem, Charlie's does it right. You know how it is. The check your engine light comes on, you put air in the tires, and the light is still on. 216-470-0170. That's Charlie's Auto Repair, 13728 Madison in Lakewood. Charlie can do it all, from small engine repair to fleet maintenance and system diagnostics. Winter is here, so call Charlie's Auto Repair for snow plowing needs. 216-470-0170. Charlie's Auto Repair. Let Charlie make your car great once again.
And right back here on the Seth Williams Show with Mike CHESELKA. We are live. And on Monday and Wednesday nights now. Very excited.
Nice.
Thanks to our restaurant reporter, Tony Musachio, for joining us just a little bit ago there, talking about Royal Breakfast and Lunch, or Royal Breakfast and More, sorry, and Broadview Heights. Good stuff. And don't forget to get your shirts and your stickers at the SethWilliamsShow.com. The SethWilliamsShow.com. You can see it on the bottom of the screen there. And right now we are joined by another fantastic sponsor, Joe Burdick of Burdick Custom Flags. Joe, how you doing?
Hey.
Doing. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too, Joe.
You might have to turn your camera sideways if you can.
I sure can.
There you go.
There you are.
All right.
All right. And we're having Joe on, Burdick Custom Flags. You just heard the commercial. Burdick Custom Flags does a great job with the these homemade American flags. Patriotic. They're fantastic. They're awesome. I got one in my kitchen. I need to get an updated one of the wavy ones. But he's a good friend and a good sponsor of the show. And something very cool happened with you, right? With Cleveland.com, right?
Yeah. So Cleveland.com profiled me back in July. They actually had me on the cover of the Plain Dealer, on the 4th of July, which is appropriate. Yep. And at the end of the year, they picked out their favorite stories of people they profiled throughout the year, and I was one of them.
That's awesome.
Cool. Yeah.
I looked at the article briefly, and I didn't really look at anybody else because I didn't really care. But I looked at your stuff, and yeah, I mean, tell people what you do and where your flags go, where they've gone, some of the people you've given them to. Tell everybody about Burdick Custom Flags.
Yeah, so I started off about 8 years ago making wooden flags. They're a lot different now than how I did it back then. But I started doing them for my friends that were first responders and veterans, and it turned into a little side gig. Then it turned into a full business, and now people know me everywhere. Even if they don't recognize me, they know me everywhere. I ship them all over the country. I do charities. I raise tons of money for different charities. I'm really proud of that. And people contact me all the time asking for me to contribute to fundraisers, which it kills me when I can't do it. But I've done them for people like Marcus Luttrell, Travis Mills, the American Sniper, Chris Kyle's widow, Taya Kyle. I've done them for Neopat. I've done them for fallen police officers. I have one hanging in the Capitol building. You name it, all over the country. I've shipped them, and I love it.
I can't remember where I was. I was somewhere just the other day, and it was like an office of some sort. And I looked up and I saw a flag. Do you have any, maybe at North Royalton High School or anything?
The rec center.
Might have been the rec center, because I was sitting there and I said, I recognize the flag, and it was one of yours, no doubt.
There was one dedicated for all of the branches of the military in North Royalton. And actually, Congressman Gonzalez came into town and said the most wonderful things about my flag. I felt like I owed him money, because what he said was, I couldn't have been more thrilled, that a sitting congressman would say what he said about my flags. But I've got one hanging in Mario's barber shop. I've got
yeah.
they're all over the place over here. And Mission Barbecue. You can see me and my flags pretty much everywhere. A friend of mine at a police department in Parma Heights getting something for his car, and he happened to look up, and there was one of the ones we did with Triv a couple of years ago, still hanging there. You know, I love it. They're everywhere.
You know what's funny is that the other day, I didn't get a chance to tell the story on the area because I was sick, but I had a run-in where I needed the police. And so I had to actually call the Broadview Heights police to come out and help me with something. And they showed up, and I happen to know the majority of them because of the event that we did where we gave them a flag and we gave them Billy Morrison Smoking Rock and Roll, brought lunch out to him and everything. And it was so cool because I knew the guys for helping out with that, and they have one of your flags there too. They're all over the place. So that's fantastic.
Yeah, I put a lot of time and a lot of pride in my flags, and knowing that I can help people raise money for different organizations, that's amazing. When people seek me out all over the country, I never dreamed when I started doing this 8 years ago that they would turn into what they do now. And my wavy flags have been unbelievably popular. And, I love making those. And you're right. We need to upgrade yours, and I need to get you a wavy flag over there.
Cool. I want to ask,
hey guys.
Hey, Sandy. I want to ask you something, Joe. It's been said that a good sculptor will look at a piece of marble and get a feel for what's in that piece of marble. Your flags don't just hang on a wall. They just kind of live on that wall, especially like you said, the wavy ones. Do you experience the same kind of thing when you look at a piece of wood and you get a feel for what that final finished product's going to look like? Can you feel that before you even get started with it?
Well, if you compare me to somebody that can work with marble, that's an insult to them. But yes, when I get out there and I start getting those grinders going, it has to be what an artist must feel like that can do, because I'm watching flat pieces of wood just sculpt into something that, to me, it's art. It's my own form of art, but
it is.
I get such working with those wood chips flying everywhere and all the dust, and for me it's a lot of fun. It's such a joy to be able to make those things, and that people want them. And Christmas was insane how many people ordered flags, and I loved it every minute.
Scott wants to know, what's the furthest customer you've had?
Well, I mean, I haven't shipped any out of the country yet, so it would have to be the communist state of California. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, no,
the People's Republic of California, right?
Actually, one of the biggest thrills too, aside from doing the thing we do with John Rich every year, but this article that was in Cleveland.com, Brenda Kane did an amazing job. There's a guy that follows my social media. His name is Josh Gunter. He's a photographer, but he believed in what I do so much that he referred me, and finally the Plain Dealer took interest in me. But my story was picked up. This story was picked up by Stars and Stripes magazine, which is a national magazine, military-based, but it's been around since the Civil War.
Yeah.
That was such an honor for me to be in Stars and Stripes magazine, went all over the world. I mean, that was really cool for me.
And you've done some stuff with Fox News, haven't you?
Yeah. Fox News, they love me there. They had me on 3 years in a row on New Day Cleveland. I wasn't on this year, however, but last year they had, they had me on live in the studio, and that was really cool. I was there with, Dave Mortosh and with Travis Mills. So that was really cool. But I've done stuff I was on Jimmy Donovan's show. I was recently on my first national interview I did with Dan Ball. He called me up and asked me to be on Real America on the One America News Network. So that was really cool. But yeah, I've been getting a lot of notoriety. We talked the last time I talked to you. Marcus Luttrell invited me out to Houston for his fundraiser. So I went out there for the Lone Survivor Foundation. That was really cool to represent Cleveland and my brand a little bit. So yeah, I've been doing really good things with my flags.
I have another question for you. There are all kinds of across this country Civil War roundtables, reenactment groups, et cetera, et cetera. There are roundtables and organizations for World War I, World War II, the Revolutionary War. Will you, if someone requests it, also do a period flag for someone, like the original Stars and Bars, the 13 colony stars, the Civil War flags? Will you be able to do historical ones for people as well?
Yeah, that's a good question, Mike. I've done the Bennington, which was a really cool flag. And admittedly, I knew nothing about the Bennington. And so I looked it up, and that was kind of neat. I've done the Spirit of 76, the Betsy Ross thing. And one time, a guy from Florida ordered the Rebel flag, and I did that. But, so I would do stuff like that. I will never do an ISIS flag. I won't do a Nazi. And,
Right.
But if somebody wanted, an old style flag, yeah, I'd absolutely do that.
We got a message here from a good friend of the show. As a veteran, let me personally thank Joe for what he does. That flag means more to those of us that serve than you can possibly know. Bravo, sir.
Yep.
Amen.
As a veteran myself, I love our flag, and I always say that the American flag represents everything that's good in this country, and it doesn't represent anything that's bad. So our flag has seen a lot of good and bad, but it always represents the
good side. Yeah.
And I remember real quick before how I met Joe. He was listening to the Triv show, and Triv wanted to know something, and Joe called in with the information, and then we started talking about his Facebook page. And so I looked up your flags, and I was looking at them, and I showed Triv. And I said, Triv, you got to look at these flags. And Triv gets approached with like 4 billion things a day. And so he was kind of like, all right, whatever. I said, no, you have to look at the flags. And so he looked at it, and he goes, all right, give me one of those for the benefit. And so I called you, and we got a hold of you, and we were able to get you to do one for the Coach for Kids benefit.
Right.
And it was very nice, very gracious of you to do that. And then that night, we gave it away, and we're sitting outside, and the next morning, Triv and I were talking before breakfast, and he goes, yeah, get Joe to give me another flag for tonight. I was like, what? I was like, why didn't you ask him yesterday? So I called you, Joe, and you were like in an event down in Canton, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked if you could bring out another flag. You said, I'm gone all day. But you still did it, and you ran the flag out that night for the second night of Coach for Kids. And you showed up with another flag to give away to help raise a lot of money for Coach for Kids.
A lot of money.
And a relationship started there, and it's been there ever since.
What was cool about that night, too? So it was hot, and I was sweaty all day, and I come in, and I'm like, and I see Triv, and I see you, and Mike, you were killing it on stage. And Triv's like, all right, we're going to wait around a couple of minutes, and then we're going to go on stage. And I'm like, who? He's like,
you.
So I'm like, everybody else is dressed nice, and, they're killing it. And I'm in this old T-shirt and baseball hat. They bring me up on stage, and, yeah, I mean, I'm so honored that Triv liked what I did. And, I always felt like a friend with him afterwards. And, being able to help Debbie and those guys at Coach for Kids, I told him, anytime you need me, Triv, I'm there. And, my last conversation with Triv was, he's like, save the date, March 22nd or whatever it was. He's like, I know you won't remember, so Seth will call you. We have another benefit coming up. He loved helping out, and I loved that he believed in me. And Seth, you'll appreciate this right here on my desk. Look what I have.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I love being able to do that stuff, and I love that he believed in me, and I love that my flags can help in some way.
And you got to feel proud that you have one of your flags hanging in the Capitol.
You know what? I am.
That's just got to be.
I'm so proud, Mike. I mean, when I was asked, to make one, And I said, I want to hand deliver this thing to DC. My son and I drove to DC, and we personally delivered that thing. And, we were able to tour the White House, and we were able to tour the Capitol building. And it was such an amazing experience. But yeah, knowing my flag is in there.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. That's awesome. One of the highlights of the things that I've done.
Well, how do people get a hold of you and your flags?
Yeah, they can reach me and on my social media, Burdick Custom Flags, BURDICK, Burdick Custom Flags, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And my website is burdickflags.com. And if they want to call, they can call me at 440-305-2065.
Paul Rado's giving you crap. He says, "Hey, Burdick, raise your camera. I'm looking up her nose."
Sorry, Paul.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. We get that picture of Paul on the screen. That's what he's going to complain about that.
Right.
It's nice that Paul's listening now. Hey, Paul. How you doing? We appreciate, Joe, you coming on tonight. And again, where can people see this article? It's on cleveland.com, right?
Yeah, they can go to cleveland.com. They can just look up Burdick Custom Flags. In fact, if they look up Burdick Custom Flags, they'll find all kinds of good articles and video. And even the one in Stars and Stripes magazine. They can find me everywhere.
All right. That's just great, as it should be.
We appreciate you being a sponsor for the show and a friend as well. I appreciate everything you do for me. So I appreciate everything, and thank you so much. And we will talk to you again soon, Joe.
All right. Love you guys. Keep up the great
show. You too. Happy brother. New Year to you and your family, man. Have a great year, Joe.
Yep, I hope so. You too, guys.
Thanks.
Burdick Custom Flags. Burdick Custom Flags. Look them up online and check them out. Burdick Custom Flags on Facebook and everything else. So let's take a quick break, Mike. We got Will Spiegelberg coming up in just a little bit. Give away some tickets. We got to get into this NFL player collapsing on the field. Did you watch it?
I didn't see it live. Tonight? I didn't see it live. I've seen the.
Are we going to get banned
too many times?
Are we going to get banned if I play the video? I don't know.
I don't think
so, right? We can play the video.
No,
right?
I've seen it everywhere.
All right. Well, we will do that and much more when we get back. Keep it here.
Hey, it's Seth from Mario's Barbershop in Parma, 7526 Broadview Road in the Pleasant Valley Shopping Center right next to Big Lots. You got to check out Mario, man. Great guy, does a lot for charities, but can perform miracles with hair. He even made me look clean cut. Does my hair, does a great job. Love talking to the guy while I'm sitting there. It's a great place to go, local business. You gotta go to Mario's Barbershop in Parma. Mario's Barbershop in Parma, 7526 Broadview Road. Again, in Parma, Pleasant Valley Shopping Center, right next to Big Lots. Or give them a call, 216-520-1977. That's 216-520-1977. Mario's Barbershop in Parma.
Trust Joe's Lakewood Computer at 14035 Madison in Lakewood. They have over 30 years of professional service handling laptop and desktop repair services, virus removal, and data migration, and much more. You can trust them with hardware updates to your computer's memory and hard drive. Call 216-651-3880. Whether you need a simple Windows install or you're interested in the latest computers for gaming, call Joe's Lakewood Computer at 216-651-3880.
This is Tim Elkhorn, radio voice of the Cleveland Cavaliers for attorney Will Spiegelberg. Will Spiegelberg is not only a name you know, he's someone you can trust as your attorney no matter the circumstance. Will Spiegelberg is an attorney you can always count on. Will Spiegelberg is the attorney you should contact for all your legal work. When you need an attorney, call Will Spiegelberg at 216-233-4240. Attorney Will Spiegelberg, a great teammate. 216-233-4240.
How about that? We even have the voice of the Cavaliers doing commercials on this show.
No kidding on this show.
Tim Alcorn is doing commercials on this show.
It's going to be a great year this year on this
God willing.
show. Yep.
We'll see what happens. Not starting off out that great, man. Everybody's sick and people collapsing on football fields. We got actors getting crushed by snowplows, and it's been a hell of a year to start.
And then, too, we ran through that list of people that we lost. Remember, we thought, well, this is the last show of the year. And then like the next 4 days until the 31st, we lost like 3-4 more other people, Barbara Walters and yada, yada. So life goes on and then it doesn't. And the same old. And which is why today's July 4th. So most people will stop saying Happy New Year. It's the same year.
It's already over. The happiness is already over. God
But
bless you. Ordering one for Jim Jordan and myself after the show. Nice.
There you
go. We could talk about the Cavs, I guess, a little bit because.
Well, here's the thing. As far as I was
calling up in just a couple minutes here.
All right. Until he calls in, I will tell everybody my intention Monday night after the show was to watch the Cavs game. So that's all I thought about. I didn't even think about Monday Night Football, even though it was the Bengals and the Bills and all the implications and all that. So I'm sitting there. When I first turned the game on, the Cavs were losing by 21. And then they started a comeback, and I got this feeling, wow, maybe they might pull this out. This would be a really good. And I'm really deep into the comeback, and my phone vibrates, and it's a text from you, and all your text said was, did you see that? And I figured you were talking about the game, and I turned the game on just in time to see everybody in a circle kneeling and a whole stadium full of people standing there in shock.
Yeah, I guess we can just talk about whatever. But, we got Will actually on the line right now. But
all right, let's get him.
It's unfortunate that the Cavaliers had one hell of a game. Mitchell had probably one of the best games of all time.
Yeah,
71 points, and like it was overshadowed by, a tragedy. Obviously, but let's bring Will on real quick. We'll get some tickets given away. Will Spiegelberg, how are you?
Hey, there he is.
I am fantastic. How about you?
All right, you too. Turn your phone sideways so you can fill up the screen. Yep, just turn it sideways.
There we go.
Bingo! Look at that.
No, I got my hat on from my performance in your podcast. I am always wearing it.
The
so proud of
subway hat.
We can't see it, but
here.
There it is.
Bingo. I had Subway last night, actually.
Yeah.
Cool.
So what do you Happy New Year, first of all.
Oh, Happy New Year too.
Yeah. And
where are you at tonight?
Pardon?
Where are you at tonight?
I'm just home. I wanted to go to the game so bad, and I said, I was just too tired. A lot of work. I gave away the tickets on the show a couple weeks ago to tonight's game, and then they're playing the Suns tonight.
Yep.
Right. So they're at 7:00. They're playing the Suns. Anyway, but what a performance by Donovan Mitchell! 71 points. What a game!
It was a hell of a game. Too bad it was overshadowed by what happened. Your thumb is in the way of the screen there, Will.
Okay, there we go.
There we go. Yeah, but too bad it was overshadowed by the Monday Night Football tragedy. But it was a hell of a game the other night. That was great. So,
well, you talked about Tim Alcorn. He is a major Buffalo Bills fan because he grew up in Buffalo or somewhere around there.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Wow.
Yeah. He had some nice tribute to the gentleman on Facebook today. But anyway, and I just wanted to say I'm going to the Charge game on Sunday, which is fantastic because first of all, it's in Fort Wayne, Indiana, and Steve McClave of the Charge, he's amazing. If anybody has a person they can't buy for, or a person that they don't understand what to get them for Christmas or their birthday, just call Steve McClave of the Charge, and he will put together a package that's fantastic.
Great.
Whether it's bling, whether it's tickets and bling, and he's just amazing. And he got a hold of the Mad Ants people to call me and ask me where I wanted to sit. And of course, I have pretty good tickets for the Charge. Seth and I are going in a couple of weeks.
Yes, we are.
And that should be a lot of fun. Hopefully, nobody will sit in front of Seth. The chances are pretty good that no one is going to sit in front of Seth.
Right. So hope I can get my leg down there.
We're going to get you down. Oh no, we'll get you down there. Don't you worry about that. Anyway.
So what are you giving away tonight?
We're going to give away tickets to the Clippers game, which is going to be on the 29th at 7:00. That's a Sunday. And the question tonight is going to. Oh, and by the way, last week our tickets were given away to Ed Durwall of Oregon, Ohio, and he called me at 216-233-4240. So the tickets we gave away last week are going to be enjoyed by Ed later on this month. If you, I want to say if folks call me or if folks call you, we'll get you the tickets. All you have to do is get the SeatGeek application.
Right.
But anyway, the question tonight is, Cedi Osman is a phenomenal player. He's a great player. What country does he hail from? And there's two possible answers, and I'll take either one of the answers. So give me a call at 216-233-4240 or email us, text us, whatever it is, and we will definitely get the tickets to you somehow, some way if you give us a email address and we work together.
Seth and Mike at Outlook.com. Seth Andy Mike at Outlook.com.
And that's two
Or just give
tickets.
Will a call.
That's 2 tickets to Sunday, January 29th game against the Clippers. Should be
against the
hell of a
Clippers,
game.
7:00 against the Clippers. So if you can make it, let's do it, because I'm sure I may be there. I don't know. Usually I like going to the Charge a lot better, but I'll suffer through a Cavaliers game like Monday night.
Yeah, I want to do that. I look forward to a Charge game with you. But we'll talk about that
with
tomorrow.
Me?
Give me a call.
Dude, wait. You're talking about Mike CHESELKA with me?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Seth, but you on the other hand, forget
it. All right. I'll wait in the car till you guys come out.
We're going to go have a good time
together.
Right. All right.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate it, my man.
We really thank you.
Have a great day, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks for being a friend of the show. See you soon.
Thanks for everything, Will.
Charge up.
We appreciate Will Spiegelberg. Again, did you write down the question? Cedi Osman, countries. Where's he from?
What country does he hail from?
And just give him a call, 233-2420.
Yes. 216-243-4220. 233-4240.
And then, or you can email us, Seth and Mike at Outlook.com. Email us to answer. You got to have the SeatGeek app, and you can win tickets to the Cavs game.
Yep.
So, it was very unfortunate.
Yeah. So anyway, like I was saying, I'm sitting there watching, and the momentum's starting to build. And I literally, I opened a beer. I opened up a bag of pretzels. I'm sitting there. I'm getting into the game. And my phone vibrates. I look over, and you texted me because you must have been in shock too. You texted me, did you see that? So then I thought, what's he watching? It's not the Cavs game because there was nothing that drastic. So I turn on Monday Night Football, and everybody is kneeling in a circle, and everybody in the stadium is in shock. And then after that, it was like, oh, okay. They sent the team back to and then to make a long story short, I ended up watching the game and then saw the replay of what happened later on that night.
So let's show real quick
what
the video of what happened on Monday Night Football.
Wow.
Now, that wasn't a big hit. That wasn't the kind of tackle that you would see anytime in any game in the NFL on any given week.
Correct. That's just football being football. You're right about that.
I don't know what happened. Nobody really knows what happened.
Right.
Why it happened, I should say. But the guy, heart stop, cardiac arrest. He goes down after getting up and then goes down to the ground. They have to perform CPR for a good 9-10 minutes.
And then they say when he got to the hospital, they had to resuscitate him a second time. So that kid, young man, is still not out of the woods. So everybody's thoughts, concerns, prayers, all that stuff is still the most germane thing. But you don't. Everybody in the stadium seemed to know that what they saw with their own eyes was not normal, was not It was something different, and
Yeah.
the effect was just chilling. I mean, you could see everybody trying to, even people with microphones and headphones on, whose job it was to talk about what was going on, were hard pressed to do anything except say, "This is shocking."
So I guess there's numerous questions that I have. Scott said cardiac episode. Yes, I understand. His uncle told him that. Yes, we get it. Yeah, it was a cardiac episode. I understand. Cardiac arrest. But we don't know why that happened.
Exactly.
We don't know why he had a cardiac episode. We don't know whether it was a hit that he took, I guess, to the chest. Maybe it was. Was it something else? Did he have a heart problem growing up? Did he have something that he didn't know about that happened? There's a lot of people making a lot of speculation about why this happened. There's a lot of people saying things that I'm not going to even say tonight. But reasons why they think that he had the episode that he had.
Yeah, that's I get that, but
so I don't know. I don't know what it was, and then I ask other questions that I want to know. If this happened while it was in the locker room, while he was in the locker room waiting to go out, or at halftime, and the game is going on, it's halftime, they all go in the locker room, and something happens to him standing at the locker, and he goes down, and he's rushed off to the hospital. Do they finish the game? Did the NFL do the right thing? I think they did by calling the game. I think that was probably the right move. But would they have called it if it happened in the locker room and not in front of a stadium full of 70,000 fans live on national television? I'm not sure that they would have called the game. I'm not sure you would have even heard about the story until after the game was over. I don't know. These are questions that I'm asking. If you have any thoughts, you can join the show. Just click on the link that I posted, or you can go ahead and leave your messages on the WCTs.com message line, or again, give us a call on the Charlie's Auto Repair hotline. You can call into the show. What do you think? I saw Skip Bayless getting all kind of crap for a tweet that he put out. He put out a tweet basically saying, what's the NFL going to do? This is an important game that needs to be played. It has a lot of impact on the NFL and the season. And he's given a lot of crap because it was bad timing, I guess. But if you read his entire tweet, he says, but that's really irrelevant
right? And that's the whole thing. And this is one of the things I don't like about social media, because irony, satire, double entendre, those don't come through in a text. Those don't come through in a tweet. If you were listening to his voice and he said at the end, of course, none of that matters, it's irrelevant, the sound of his voice would have told you that respectfully he was making a point that shouldn't have been mocked. But because it's in print and everybody,
that's what Twitter blew up like crazy as the whole thing was going on before anybody knows anything. ESPN saying all kind of different things because they have a job to do. They're trying to fill time. They have no idea what the hell is going on.
Right.
They report, the NFL says we got 5 minutes to warm up and then they're going to be playing again. Well, that wasn't true.
No.
We don't know what was true. We don't know what happened behind the closed doors. Sandy says the coaches decided that. You don't know who the coaches decided that or not. We have no idea whether the coaches had anything to do with anything. We're being told certain things. I don't know.
But I think we
would have been different if the guy was in the locker room when it happened. Who knows?
But here's the thing: we can speculate about that, but let's deal with what we did see. And I think the Buffalo coach and the Cincinnati coach standing there, looking eye to eye, talking to each other, and the Cincinnati coach just acquiescing and nodding his head before they pointed and said, "Let's get off the field." I think we actually watched them say, my team isn't ready to go forward. And Cincinnati said, God bless, we feel the same way. So, I mean, there's an awful lot of stuff we don't know about, and we'll let people come in, talk, comment, this, that, and the other thing. But I'm going to say in a little while something that I haven't heard anybody say, and I think is something really powerful to come out of this that needs to be discussed and celebrated.
Yeah, and thoughts and prayers go out to the family and, of course, him. From everything that I've read, he seems like a good kid.
Yeah.
Not a high draft pick, a 6th round or whatever.
No. worked
And
real hard to make it to the NFL, and then the story about how close he is to his little brother and how
I think
everything.
his mom had him when he was 6, when she was 16 years old, I think.
Yeah.
And he had a GoFundMe account set up for his mom's toy drive or whatever, and
Right.
it was like $5 million the first day or whatever.
And this is,
it's a good story as far as the man goes, and
Right.
I'm happy that people are paying attention. You know what? I'm happy that all of a sudden we have a country full of God-fearing people that have lots of thoughts and prayers going out to this young man.
That's exactly what I want to build on, Seth, because here's the thing that struck me, and I haven't heard this out of any of the national media or anybody else. That man's goal for his toy drive was to raise $2,500 so he could bring brand new toys into the neighborhood he grew up in Pittsburgh and hand them out to the kids.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody found out that was his goal. And now today, as you and I sit here, they have donated more than $6 million to that kid's toy drive.
And it is so great. Yeah.
Now that also says something about this country, because those $6 million came from R's, D's, red, blue, black, white, Catholic, Protestant, Jewish. It came from everybody. And it's a tribute to the fact that we are above and can rise above what's racist.
And look, I'm not going to pick left.
This morning, I'm watching the news, and there's surveillance video taken from a kid, and not surveillance, phone video taken from a kid across the street from a parking lot in Akron, where some kid is out there with a gun shooting the gun. And my whole point is, when you watched, and everybody's still praying for this kid that's laying with an intubator in a hospital in Cincinnati, and everybody's praying for him, and we all wish and care for, appreciate, and want the best for this kid in Cincinnati, and rise above the things that separate us and make us different, and get beyond the name calling and racism. That's the best of America. Just like when you look at the kid shooting the gun in the parking lot, when you don't like that kid, that's not racist either. It's about, we're finally seeing two examples of content of someone's character and not the color of their skin. There's hope for this country.
The other thing that I liked seeing, because, and I'm not going to go left or right on this issue, because it's just stupid to do that.
Yeah.
But I see people like Cory Booker, who said in the past, thoughts and prayers are BS. And yet the other day I saw a guy on ESPN bow his head and say a prayer live on television for this young man.
Yeah.
And for 70,000 people to be praying at once in a stadium for a kid that just went down like that, I thought was great. And it's really sad. And actually, Chris says it's pretty good here. It's too bad that someone has to almost die on TV for people to be charitable. It's sad that it takes that. It's sad it takes it to become, to be praying and come together like that. It is sad. But it was nice that people didn't care about the jersey that was on kid's back. They didn't care about what city or what team he was from.
Right.
Somebody almost died on the field. Actually, kind of did die on the field.
Yeah.
And people came together, and it is sad that that's what it takes.
And then, the people.
And there are people out there that really suck. Like the guy on Twitter who got really mad that his
because it messed up his fantasy football team. Yeah,
there's a special place in hell for you, my friend.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, there is. So, once again, it illustrated the fact that there's something we can walk away from humbly and be proud of ourselves, and humbly still continue to care about. I wish for the best recovery for that guy. Plain and simple. Just plain and simple.
Reporting isn't speculating. Skip Bayless wasn't on the air. He had no reason to be putting his opinion out there other than him looking for cheap attention. I beg to differ. That is his job. His job is, one, to create controversy, bad timing on that. But two, his job is to be on Twitter, on social media. I know from being in radio for as long as I have, now social media wasn't around at the beginning, but when I was on the show with Triv, part of our job was social media. And if something happened at night when we weren't there, something happened in the morning when we weren't there, it was our job to be on social media, whether it was Twitter, Facebook, whatever it was, to make a comment, to put up an article, to make an opinion, to get reaction for the show. That was part of our job as social media, and that, I'm assuming, is part of his job. Now, again, if you read his tweet, it may have seemed insensitive at the time, but he also said that the game is irrelevant. But I think
meaningless
it's a fair
compared
question.
to what happened. Agreed.
But it's also a fair question to say what is going to happen in the business of the NFL.
Yeah.
Look, I don't even want to talk about this because it's horrible for me to even think about. But my friend and my boss, a guy that I respected for decades doing the job that he did, passed away 2 hours before his show was supposed to start. And we weren't allowed to turn off the radio. We weren't allowed to take the day off. We had to go out there and do it.
Yeah.
And it was the hardest thing I ever had to do in my entire life.
Right.
It was harder than losing a leg going on the air and trying to do that show.
Yeah.
And so is it an unfair question to ask, I guess, on Twitter? Maybe. Nobody had any idea what was going to happen to this kid. We still don't know what's going to happen to this kid.
Right.
We're not going to cancel the NFL for the rest of the year.
Correct.
What are you going to do? Not play football the rest of the year? No more Super Bowl? It's unfortunate. It is. It's horrible.
It is.
And I feel for him, and I feel for his family. But
And
what do you do now? You have to move on.
Right. And that's part of the lesson too, because things aren't instant and you let things play out and whatever. But again, like I said, there's more evidence of this country being capable of dealing with content of character rather than color of skin. That was edifying to me.
Yeah, Sandy well said, prayer and cable. Well, it was something. James, when an officer is killed in the line of duty, the other officers still have to finish their shifts.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's football. I know it's entertainment. I get that. But, these guys are, like it or not, I'm not being insensitive, not trying to be anyways, but they make a lot of money to go out there and play a game and to do their job. That's their job. That's the line of profession that they chose. It's dangerous.
I was going to say
scary.
It's their chosen profession too.
But it is.
You're right.
And so, again, I think they made the right call in stopping the game that night. Without a doubt, they had to.
Oh, yeah.
But now what do you do going forward? I've literally been watching this for days, and I've actually heard some people on Twitter and some people on TV say maybe they should cancel the season. Or maybe we should relook at football again because people with CTE and now this happened. We don't know why this happened. You don't just cancel football.
Right.
You're not going to pay millions of dollars to watch guys or to have guys play flag football.
Right. And I have heard.
What do you do?
I have heard options about letting that game go by the wayside because it's hard to put those two teams back on the same field and pick up the game right where it left off like nothing happened, and maybe dealing with winning percentage. And both Buffalo and Cincinnati only play 16 games this year instead of 17, and then move on and go to the playoffs. But that's going to happen. Look at it this way. Not that long ago, Marshall University lost a team when the plane crashed.
Yeah.
They fielded a team the next year. Like you said, things go on. Things endure. And, part of it sometimes is a tribute when you carry on after adversity like that. So I don't think we're seeing the end of the NFL because of this, but that doesn't diminish the impact and of being there or seeing it live like you did. I mean, you're the opposite of me. I'm watching the Cavs game with, a beer and a pretzel, and you're watching the Monday Night Football with a Diet Coke and whatever you were doing. And so you seeing it live, they said that people that saw it live knew that wasn't a normal injury, that something was wrong. Did you get that feeling even at home?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. See, that's what I mean.
This is something bigger
that transcended any tackle or hit or sprained ankle or any of that stuff. Daryl Stingley never, was paralyzed after a hit, and stuff goes on and so on and so forth. So again, it's the way you treat things as you go on, and to have people respond the way they did is a tribute to the way we responded.
Mark says Tony Rossi had the best tweet that media members are competing for the best tweet about the incident. Real heroes are the first responders. They were. And man, they got out there, and that was a hell of a scene to see. I mean, it really was. I mean, I'd never seen anything like that.
And then hats off to the Cincinnati and Buffalo fans that ended up a couple hours later in a candlelight vigil outside the hospital. That was pretty classy too.
What if the Bills match up against the Bengals in the playoffs? Cancel? Redraw lots? You have to.
No. They'll play that game because it's a different game. But you can't pick up the pieces in the one that.
No, you can't.
There's no way to finish the game.
There is a way to finish the game. Look, we all experience loss in our lives.
Right.
I mean, I've experienced everybody. My mom died when I was younger, when I was in my 30s. I mean, we all experience loss. All my grandparents are unfortunately gone. We all experience things that happen. I almost died less than a year ago.
True.
It's unfortunate what happened. I'm praying that this kid makes it through. What I've read, that he's been showing signs of improvement, which is fantastic. We don't know what it's going to end up turning out to be.
True.
But at some point, you do have to make up this game because there's a business to run. And it is what it is. Your thoughts. You guys can text into the show via the WCTs.com message line, or you can give us a call. I put the link out there. I'll put it out again. You can join in on the conversation. What do you think? What do we do?
I don't know. Here we go.
Victor says, put a number 3 on everyone's helmet and play the game.
Does that mean resume the game at 7-3 with half of the first quarter gone? Or does that mean if they meet each other in the playoffs, you just play a new game?
I do wonder if this happened at a different stadium like Philly or somewhere else. Would have had a worse reaction post the game.
I don't think so.
What if it happened in a locker room, like I said? What if they went to halftime and this kid or anybody passed out, had a cardiac event, passed out in the locker room, went down, they rush in, then he's taken to the hospital. We don't know what happened. It wasn't live on TV. 70,000 people in the stadium didn't see it. The only people that saw were the players, coaches in that locker room.
Right.
Does this still happen?
No, I don't think it has the impact that everybody that saw it live across the whole country. That I agree with you. I think the magnitude of what everybody saw live far outweighs what the scene you're describing, where something happened in a locker room before the game even started, and without something that no, it wouldn't have had the same thing. I'm harking back to after President Kennedy was assassinated, there was a lot of talk that the NFL should suspend football on Sunday that weekend because everybody said, well, it's just football and it's frivolous and the president just died. But then the decision was made that no, we carry on in America. And one of the ways to get back to normal was to play the weekend slate. And I don't know I don't even know who the Browns played that weekend, but
did they cancel games after 9/11 for a week? I thought that they did.
There you go.
But it might have been because of safety concerns, because they didn't know what was going to happen
exactly.
in big stadiums and stuff like that.
Right, big stadiums full of people.
Let's see. Need to come together all the time, not just when there's a tragedy.
Isn't that the truth, Natalie? No kidding. And like I said, what I liked about everybody's reaction, what I liked about the $6 million, what I liked about the prayers and everything else being human and not, secular, gives me a little bit of hope that we can do that. With all respect, you get back on the horse. It's part of the healing process.
I agree.
Kidding. I agree too.
Continue the game, correct down time, score, refs, just different broadcasters.
Yeah, it's the broadcasters are what's wrong. That's
I wasn't a big fan of. I don't like. Was it Joe Buck and Troy Aikman that night?
Troy Aikman, Joe Buck, yeah.
Not a huge fan, but whatever. I mean, I saw people online criticizing them too. What are you supposed to do?
No kidding. I mean, it's not like you learn that in the broadcaster's manual.
I mean, one thing I didn't like, and I know this is going to sound, again, maybe bad on my part, but I'm just being real though, is that I didn't like how they kept taking commercial breaks.
Yeah.
It just showed me something that.
Right. There's nothing more important than this. And now a word from Burger King.
Yeah, I don't need to see the ads for the burgers and beer. Stay with it. Show me what's going on. At least talk about what's going on. There's no bigger story. There's nothing bigger than that right there.
I wonder.
I know they got to get their ads in, but you got all night.
Well, not only that, Seth, but it makes me wonder this. When all the news networks are covering the apocalypse, when the earth opens up, when shit comes out of the sky, when all kinds of stuff is going on and people go, oh my God, this is it. It's the end of the world. Will any announcer have the guts to go, who needs a commercial? You don't have to worry about Nordstrom or Dollar Store because there isn't going to be a tomorrow. And maybe we can watch the whole thing unfold without commercials.
Would you stay on the air? Like if we were doing the podcast.
Hell yes.
And we got an alert on our phone saying that the end of the world is going to happen in 1 hour.
Yeah.
Would you stay on and count down that hour? Probably nobody's going to be listening. There might be some. I don't know.
Yeah. See, that's
you wouldn't want to be with your family though?
Well, yeah, they know where to find me. I'm here upstairs in the, right in the big enough room with the piano. But the truth of the matter is, I look at all those people that like wear the camouflage and the makeup and stuff like that and have a lot of guns. And because at the end of the world, it's, they're going to spend the rest of their life making sure that nobody from across the street steals their water. If we ever get a message that there's a missile heading for Cleveland and it's going to strike at Edgewater Beach, I'm going to go stand in the middle of Edgewater Beach and hope that the missile hits me right in the forehead.
Yeah,
I don't want to be around for the rest of the time.
I want it over as quick as possible in that case.
No kidding, man. I'm not going to sit there and go, oh my God, I have to repopulate the world with you? No, that's not me, dude. I'm out of here.
Says cops are typically put on leave for several days or weeks if someone is killed. Sometimes just if someone shoots a gun.
Yeah, that's very true.
I understand that, but at the same time, Kirk, not the entire force. There's still cops out there on the streets if somebody gets shot. I mean, what I'm saying is the NFL has to continue. We don't just stop policing.
They will, but I need to hear from more people at home as to what they feel about picking up the game that was suspended. Do they replay and start over at 0-0, or do they put the clock back to where it was and pretend nothing happened? Or do they just figure out winning percentage and have Cincinnati and Buffalo just kind of sidestep their way around that game?
I think there's no doubt you got to pick it up where it left off. Same down, same everything, and just pick it up. And you do a nice tribute before the game starts. You do a big thing in honor of that kid and you make it an event. And then you have the guys go out there, shake hands, hug each other out, and then you play some football in honor of that kid. Yeah. The kid put his entire life into playing football.
Right.
It's not like somebody just picked up and we went to a fast food restaurant and learned how to flip a burger. This kid put his entire life to try to be drafted in the NFL.
Amen to that.
You go out there and you honor him by playing the game, and you do a big tribute to him. But start it up. Play the game.
And it's just, like I said, ironic to me that because there's no closure yet because we don't know if it's going to take another week or month or whatever until he sits up and says hi, if that's, or whatever the outcome is. It's hard. It's just, we live in a world where everybody wants to know everything in a minute.
Kirk is saying anyone involved, in this case, all the players were there. I cannot believe he's almost agreeing with you, Mike. You know, he's like your enemy. But
he's
hey, Kirk, I love you. And Kirk, you're one of my,
I agree.
You're one of my dearest friends here on the show, no doubt. But what do you wait for? Are you going to wait until he passes before you let the Bills and his Bengals play again? Or are you going to wait till he's, like you said, sits up and says hello? I mean, what are you waiting for? Do it in honor of this kid. Play the game. They put on standard leave. I'm assuming he's talking about the police. If they're involved in a shooting, come on.
All right. Well, that guy's got a Bills logo.
Which is not true. I said cops keep working. They don't. There are police that still man the streets when there's an officer-involved shooting.
Well, here's me agreeing with.
I understand that those particular police aren't working that day.
Well,
but there are still police. You still go on. You still have to play the games.
Here's the analogy, though, Seth. He's talking about the police that were involved. In this case, it's Buffalo and Cincinnati. It's those.
So now we're going to sit two of the best teams in the league. We're going to tell them you're not playing any more football.
No,
we're not going to play each other.
No, we're going to tell them
the entire season for these guys.
No.
And there are 50
winning percentage is not going to affect. It's not going to keep anybody out of the playoffs that deserves to be there. It's not going to affect the rankings. It's going to come down to winning percentage. And guess what? They may meet again in the playoffs, and that will be fine because it's a new and different game. And you play that one in honor.
Okay. It's still the same teams. It's still the same. You're still going to remember what happened that day. It's not going to be. You're not playing the same game if you just go out there tomorrow and restart it. It's a different game. Everything's different now. So,
right.
But you have to play the game. It's still a business, and there's still, again, 50-some guys on each team that have fought their way to get to the NFL, and they're having dream years. Let them go out there and play, in my opinion. When Joe Theismann's leg came out of his skin, they moved him off and went to second down. Why would the Bengals forfeit a lead they earned just because of this trackage event? It's not their fault. I agree with that, too. It may sound insensitive, but it's kind of true. Right? I don't know. I mean, they had a lead. Nobody did anything wrong here. Nobody went out and shot somebody.
Well, that's the beauty of this. We're not dealing with life and death or right or wrong. These are options. Any one of the options are doable.
Well, we are dealing with life and death. I mean, this guy.
There's no one better than the other.
I don't know. I don't know what you do.
You know.
They need to play the
game.
They
need to play the game. I think
this kid will continue on.
No, there's still some with no closure but everyone. All true. That's the beauty of the dynamics of why you can't make snap judgments and paint with a broad brush, because every person, everything is much more complicated. Only simple minds want simple answers. Plain and simple.
Yeah.
To carry on and figure and factor all of that stuff in. That's why we're discussing all of this. That's why we're discussing this.
I'm not saying go out there and move on from the kid.
Right. No, you're right. I agree.
Look, again, if you want to bring that, Victor brought up Triv. If you want to bring up Triv, you haven't moved on. I have not moved on.
No.
But I still want to. I want to be a broadcaster. This is what I want to do with my life, whether it's podcasting, whether it's radio, whatever it is.
Right.
This is what I want to do for my life. I haven't forgotten about Triv. I never will. I haven't moved on from Triv. I never will. But I'm going to still pursue what I want to do. And
exactly,
these guys play football. You don't forget about the kid. The kid's not dead. And two, you still have to go on and play football.
I completely agree. And we, about a month ago, had somebody on who's in a movie, The War on the Diamond, about Ray Chapman, who actually was killed in a baseball game. And they played the next game. So you're absolutely right about dealing moving on and life carrying on and all of that kind of stuff. And it's just all this does, all moments like this does, is make us confront our own humanity.
Oh, yeah.
That's all it does. And I will tell you something. I'm not preaching. You're the biggest example of that with how many life or death, birth, importance of life, how many million different philosophical thoughts went through your head since April that you would have never had if you didn't step on a nail.
Oh, my God. My life has changed like you can't believe. There's so many things that I look at differently. I think about differently since, when I sit there and I think about, how many times I thought about this poor kid being, I guess, not breathing on his own. I mean, back in April on Easter, was put on a tube myself. I was in ICU and
a medically induced coma.
I was in a coma and I wasn't breathing on my own. I had tubes down my throat. And I've thought about this kid. I didn't know if I was going to, I didn't know. Who knows? I didn't know I was going to wake up or what. I know what it felt like to have those tubes ripped out of my throat, though, and it sucked. And I've thought about things a lot differently now ever since it happened. And I pray for this kid.
And I personally can testify to the fact that you weren't selfish through all of this too, that you thought about everybody. I picked you up one time to take you to an appointment, and you said, I never realized how rough it is for anybody that's got an affliction or something they got to deal with, because the world is insensitive. The ramps don't work, curbs are off, they don't make doorways flat. Nobody cares about people that have a hard time getting by. And that was an awareness, not just for you. That wasn't you bitching about things. That was you going, oh my God, there's a whole world of people out there that got to suffer with stuff that they shouldn't have to because people are lazy.
And, just because I was in the situation I was in doesn't mean that the world stopped around me.
Exactly.
My wife still had to go to work. My daughter still had to go to school.
Right.
There were people that were my close friends that had to do things. And, it is what it is. Life continues.
Yeah.
And it continued for the people that were around me. And life has to continue for the people around this kid.
Yeah.
And that's not being insensitive. That's the way life is.
Well,
it's not great.
Right.
It's not perfect. But it is what it is.
It kind of sucks here. You're right. But we all know there will be a Super Bowl this year. There will be a representative from the AFC. And Buffalo and Cincinnati may have to play each other again to determine who's the AFC champ. That is just the reality of what it is. How we get to that point is what we're deciding or thinking about, and they will make decisions about, but it's going to happen. And everybody thought that game might be a preview of the AFC Championship again anyway. So who knows? It just might be.
Mario just tried calling me on my phone. I sent you the link, Mario. Click on the link. I sent you the link on your email too. Just click on the link if you want to join in on the conversation. Detroit Lions, Charles Hughes died on the field in 1971 to finish the game. I thought I read somewhere though that they thought he was faking an injury though, which is terrible.
Yeah.
Doubleheaders football game. That would be interesting. That's never been done, right? All right, we're going to take a quick break. If somebody wants to join in on the conversation via the Charlie's Auto Repair hotline, you can do that. Click on the link, join in, or you can leave your messages on the WCTs.com message line. I apologize if I'm straining to talk tonight. Still coming down or still getting over this flu, whatever it is. It's been a nightmare, but
it's no fun.
We're making our way through. We'll be back in literally a minute.
The SETHWilliamsShow.com brought to you by Chris Aiken IT Services. Much appreciated. Also, got to give a big thanks to Tony Musachio, our restaurant reporter, and Tammy, a special friend of the show. Thank you very much. And thank you to all of our sponsors for everything that you do. We'll be right back.
Does your company need fresh teas? Have you paid an arm and a leg for the ones you have? Worried about poor quality when you pay less? Stop worrying, Northeast Ohio, and visit us at www.wctees.com. At Wolf Creek Media, we're family owned, We offer simple pricing, and we're fair and honest. We even have an in-house graphic designer and cover all your apparel needs. So if you need t-shirts, hoodies, banners, or any other type of printing, call us at 330-353-9695 or visit us at WCTEES.com. That's WCTees.com, a proud sponsor of the Seth Williams Show.
All right, back here on the Seth Williams Show with Mike CHESELKA, live, talking about, of course, Damar Hamlin. Just talked to Mario the barber. He's just getting home from working on a house. Check out Mario's barbershop. Get your haircut. God knows I need to. It's been a while since I've been there. I don't know if you can tell. I'm getting a little
he did a hell of a job. You get comments every week about how good you look. So
yeah, but now I need to get back.
There we go.
Scott says, click the link. It's easy. I did it last week. Continue on with this game does not mean nobody cares, but everyone wants to be offended if you do what they think is wrong. Yes, that is true. Everybody gets offended by everything we can do. Everybody got offended by the massive amount of things on Twitter. And I'm not a big Twitter guy. I'm trying to learn some of it just because I want to do it for the show.
Right.
But there are some nasty, nasty people on Twitter. One guy was using like N-words and all kind of it was horrible on Twitter. When this poor guy is laying there next to death. People suck. When they say stuff like it ruined my fantasy football game and all the junk. Get a life if that's what you're thinking when some guy goes down like that. But you can join in on the conversation. Easy enough to do. If you want to leave a comment on the WCTs.com message line, or do that as well. So I don't know. I know that I'm coming off insensitive, and then I want to know what happened to this kid.
I don't think you're being insensitive at all. All we're talking about is something that we can only speculate about because it's unknown. I mean, I'm not a doctor, but it seems to me that the longer he's intubated and isn't making a recovery, I mean, it means he's got a long way to go. So that's all we can do is keep praying.
But I want to know, did he have a heart problem before? Was it just a hit that hit at the right possible spot at the wrong time?
Right. And I don't even want to speculate or throw something else in the weeds too, but you don't know if he took anything before the game as a painkiller or something. I mean, you don't know what was in his system. I mean, all of that stuff is, I mean, by the looks of everything, the kid was just, at 24 and in shape because you're an NFL player, having your body break down on you is the last thing you want,
Mark says, was he on any PEDs? Yeah, we don't know that kind of stuff.
We don't know any of that
I don't even like to speculate about that kind of stuff. Because,
exactly.
I mean, from everything that I've read about the kid, he seems like a pretty good guy. I don't know.
Great kid, right, exactly.
Sandy, I'm not even going to put that comment up there. You may be right, but I'm not going to do that because I want my show to stay on Spotify and everywhere else. But you never know. I don't know.
Right.
What is PEDs? Performance
enhancing drugs.
It could have been a number of things. It really could have.
Yeah.
Speculation, and you may never know, to be honest with you. I mean,
now here's
frankly, maybe none of our business. I mean, that's
right. That's true too. I did hear a couple of interviews today on different networks and on the radio with trainers, with medical personnel. One guy was the head medical trainer of the St. Louis Blues hockey team, but men and women first responders who have dealt with this in game situations before, especially on the high school level. And the biggest thing to come out of that is the need to make sure that any place that has a game where something like this could happen, no matter how remote the possibility or the odds, have the equipment to deal with it. And I heard interviews with a couple kids, a couple of grown men that, were resuscitated years ago, et cetera, but they were lucky because they had the equipment there, so on and so forth. But the one guy from the Blues hockey team said that one thing everybody should be aware of is if you're going to have those kind of games in your school, you better have the equipment to deal with something like this, because no matter what happens, the one thing that you can't deny is that kid got the best care as quickly as possible in that stadium and then at the hospital afterwards. So.
Yeah. Gunner, who I appreciate, a new messenger to the show here, past couple of times we've been on, change the subject. Can we see a tour of our new house? Is it ADA compatible? I will be posting on Odyssey a tour of the new office that I'm making here, and
people can subscribe.
They can subscribe to Odyssey. That is not up there yet, but you can subscribe. You can subscribe now to Odyssey. There are some videos up there, but I will be doing a tour of the house and a tour of the office. Is it ADA compatible? Well, I mean, I don't really need a whole lot of stuff. I mean, I can fit my wheelchair in and out of the doorways at night, because it still is kind of weird. Mike, we'll get back to this in just a sec because we've got some more messages. But
okay,
at night, it's strange for me to say, like, my daughter, my wife, they walk in and, I can't wait to get my shoes off. And, I walk in and go, can't wait to get this leg off. That's just one of those things that for a long day, it's a relief to, like, pop the leg off and kick back and prop my foot up.
Right.
But so it's a little bit different. But yeah, I'll make sure that I put a tour up at some point.
Did it change the way you lay in bed and sleep?
Yes. Sandy says, thank you for recognizing me. I understand the oh my God conspiracy theory. Yeah, we're not talking here, but I love you, Sandy. Yeah, it definitely changes the way you sleep a little bit. It's a little bit more difficult to switch sides, like turn over in bed.
Right.
Because you don't realize how much you use your legs to do that. I mean, I've gotten used to it now, but at first it was a nightmare. And then the other thing is, like, you sometimes roll into bed and your covers crawl up or whatever, and you kick your covers down over your feet and stuff. Yeah, right. It's very difficult to use a leg to try to get it over you. So
wow,
it's definitely it's a different experience, to say the least, because you can't sleep with the prosthetic on.
Right.
Because if you have the prosthetic on in bed, one, you could injure yourself, and then two, you could break the prosthetic, and it's not comfortable even a little bit. But yeah. Mark says, I thought it was interesting when they went to the locker room because they have hid something, terrible thinking, but I read Game of Shadows, and it makes me wonder a lot. Who knows? Again, we don't know what happened. We don't. Well, it looked like such an innocent hit. Hey, I want to watch it. Let's watch it one more time, real quick. And it's so scary to even watch that because he gets up and he tries adjusting his helmet and then just collapses.
I mean, we don't know if that face mask hit right underneath the shoulder pads, if there was any kind of thing. But here's the lesson to be learned before everybody jumps to conclusions. Telling people to assume that X caused Y until someone proves that it doesn't is the method of superstition and manipulation. That's not science. You don't put something out and say, well, it was this, if you have no evidence that we don't even know if the guy had a vaccination. So to say, well, it could have been this. Well, no, those are opinions. Keep those to yourself until you get something that we can all discuss and agree on. You're not making the waters any clearer.
But
now, when you said
we don't know that
if it's anything. A question, right? Exactly. You have a question, fine, but pose it as a question. To have people that jumped all over and said, "Well, it was this, it was that, it was the other thing," all kinds of statistics about all these athletes that things happen to. I read through the list of all those. 99% of those guys were soccer players in countries that didn't even have vaccines. So to be able to say, well, it must be because of this, or after 2017 or whenever. It's just nuts. That doesn't help anybody, and that doesn't help a discussion.
And look, I don't even want to get in on
Yeah.
that discussion because
Right.
we're just asking for problems there.
Yeah.
But I've heard doctors say, forget about that shot, but I've heard doctors come out and say they think it was this. Well, again, you haven't examined the guy. You don't even know what. There are doctors that are throwing stuff out and they have no clue. They've never even looked at the kid. Never. They've never looked at the guy one time.
Right.
And they're making assumptions because they watched that hit that we just watched together. And I don't know, true, Mike, except we live in a time where truth is regularly hidden by narrative. I agree with that.
Yeah, but so that's, I'm only telling the narrative people to shut up. The people that are looking for the truth are welcome to call on the message line, the WC message line, or the Mario's hotline.
I do not think that it's absurd to question things.
I completely agree.
At the beginning of the show,
here's the
you
problem.
are allowed to question things without being an ass.
I get that.
Question things because you want more information.
True.
I question things because I hear and read certain things.
Yeah.
I hear and read other things.
Right.
And so there are two sides, and I'd like to know where the actual truth is.
I get that. I completely understand that. But here's the problem with social media. If this kid wakes up and goes, I never got vaccinated, everybody...
Quit saying that word. We're not going to be on any channel.
But nobody's going to say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm a dick. There's no accountability. Nobody ever walks stuff back when they talk out of another orifice and they don't know what they're talking about.
I don't dismiss anything.
Questions are the right thing to do.
I'm just asking questions, and I think that we're all allowed to ask questions.
Amen.
I would like, I know there's HIPAA laws and all kind of stuff, so we may never know what happened to this poor guy. We may never know. But I would love it if somebody would actually come out for once and just say, this is what happened. This is the truth. Here's the evidence. This is what happened.
Yeah.
And for the most part, you don't hear that. You don't hear that anywhere anymore.
I agree, except here.
And that's what we're trying to do.
Except here.
But again, I'm certainly not speculating. I don't think you are, and I don't think, but you are allowed to ask questions.
Yep.
I'm just asking a question. Yes. Art McCoy. If he dies, okay, yes. Again, we may never know what he died of, no matter what it is.
Right. Let's just continue to hope he doesn't.
Yes, I'm hoping that this kid
recovers. That's the high road. So and get that game in and on to, it's also interesting. It's also interesting that this is the kind of games that have the kind of implications that they did. If this was opening day, it'd be a whole different story, don't you think? I mean, if Monday night had been opening day of the NFL season, it would have been a whole different outlook.
Oh, yeah.
So.
And people probably wouldn't be talking about canceling the entire season.
Right, exactly.
Again, that's absurd.
Yep.
You can't cancel football because of one thing that happened. Good look at the truth on many subjects. That is absolutely true, Natalie. I don't think we know a lot. Everything to aliens. I don't think we know the truth of what's going on. To who shot Kennedy. There are so many things that we don't know that I would love to have the answers to.
Yep.
And this government probably will never give it to us. So.
Well, it's not like everybody sits around in Spain, France, Canada, Ethiopia, Zimbabwe, Dubai, and says, boy, those poor Americans, we all know the truth and they don't.
Look,
it's kind of a human nature thing.
Don't compare me to other countries.
I'm not.
We're Americans, damn it, and we're smarter than that, and we want to know the truth.
I'm just talking about a human nature thing.
Just because other countries don't want to stand up and find out what's going on in their, with their leaders, we do. We're smarter than that. We know that there's something going on. We know that they're hiding stuff from us, and I want to know what it is.
Bingo. I couldn't agree with you more. I couldn't agree with you more.
You have to believe they're hiding some stuff from us.
Oh hell! Listen. I did a whole.
Do they think we're too stupid to,
I inspired
to
a
take the
whole
truth?
show about the people that are the one conspiracy that really is a conspiracy. Everybody thinks Oswald acted alone. That just cracks me up to this day.
Do they think Americans are too stupid to know the truth about things? Maybe,
No, I'm
maybe
saying
if
it's
they
more
told us
human
the truth. If they told us the truth about Kennedy, if they told us the truth about aliens, they told us the truth about all this stuff, that maybe we would freak out. There'd be riots in the streets. People would be panicking and not know what to do. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe it was that way with Stonehenge too. Maybe they just said it was an obstacle course and they didn't tell the rest of the country that it was some spiritual thing. Maybe the pyramids were just like, well, those are, down in distance markers.
I'm telling you, they know a lot of stuff that we don't know. And I hope before I die, well,
I'm the same way.
I hope before somebody can find out in the afterlife what actually is true and what's not.
That's my vision of heaven. Is you die, you get a huge box of insanely buttered popcorn. You sit down and you watch the movie of all the shit that really happened. That's what I want to see for the first.
There was a movie back in the day, and I don't want to say the name, but there was a movie back in the day where when you died, you went wherever. It wasn't heaven. You had to get to heaven, but they sat you down. They showed you all the crap that you messed up in your life,
right?
And you had to there was a lawyer there, and you had to plead your case for why you deserve to go to heaven. And I don't want to see all the bad stuff that I've done. I know all the bad stuff that I've done, and I'm not real proud of a lot of it. So I really don't need to relive all that.
No, I don't want to see the bad stuff, but I want to see I want to see all the true stuff that you said they're hiding from us. I want to see, everything from all the wacko JFK, Roswell, Area 50. Exactly. That's the movie I want to see. I don't want to see you in Vegas.
No, you don't. No, nobody wants to see that.
But I will tell you this: I can tell everybody a joke that's kind of similar.
Right.
Guy dies, and he goes to hell. And St. Peter says, "Well, it's my job to torture you for the rest of eternity, and I got a billion different ways to torture you. But because I kind of feel for you, I'm going to let you pick how you get tortured for the rest of eternity." So the guy goes, okay. And they go on a little tour of all the millions of rooms that are all over heaven. And he looks in one and it's disgusting. He looks in the other, it's worse. And he looks in another room and it's horrible. And he looks in another room and he can't barely even look. It's so painful. And then he opens a door and there's a guy sitting there watching football with a beer, smoking a joint, and looks closely. And there's a hooker on her knees between his legs. And the guy goes, oh, that's it. I'm here. This is how I want to be tortured the rest of my eternal life. And the devil walks over and taps the woman on the shoulders and says, okay, you can go now. I found your replacement.
I like that one. That was good.
That's hell.
That would be hell. Absolutely.
That would be hell.
On that note, let's take a quick break and then wrap everything up. That was good.
All right. See ya.
Hey, it's Seth for Smoking Rock and Roll Food Trucks. You got to check them out, man. The food is just unbelievable. Mac and cheese is fantastic. The brisket, everything else is just to die for. You got to check out Smoking Rock and Roll, 605 Clague Parkway in Bay Village. You can give them a call, 216-539-2239 to book a food truck. Find out where they're going to be at. They're going to be all over the place, especially when the spring and summer hits. It's unbelievable food. They win awards all over the place. Run by my good friend Billy Morris. And his friend Todd. They're good people, and they make great food. You got to check it out. Smoking Rock and Roll, SmokingRockandRoll.com.
Aaron Tees and Signs has become your complete one-stop sign shop. Call Jimmy at 216-299-9344. Their friendly and professional staff can and will help you build your company brand and identity from start to finish. One stop means you get a complete package from one location. Custom logo design, vehicle graphics, banners, t-shirts, storefront marquees, and so much more. Aaron Tees and Signs, 4883 Turney Road. Call us at 216-299-9344.
Hey, it's for Audio Bay Studios in Bay Village. And now if you need a podcast done, you got a band, you got to record some stuff, Audio Bay Studios is the place to go. Trained technicians, good management there. I'm telling you, Audio Bay Studios has helped me out tremendously with my podcast. You want to go there, Audio Bay Studios, 605 Clegg Parkway in Bay Village. It's right next to, or in the same building, I should say, as Smokin' Rock and Roll. Some of the best barbecue food trucks in town. The best barbecue food trucks in town. I'm telling you, you got to check out Audio Bay Studios. I know the guy, Chris Aiken. I know the guy, Billy Morris. They're good people. They take care of you. Audio Bay Studios. If you got a podcast that you want to start recording, Audio Bay Studios in Bay Village is the place to be. 605 Clegg Parkway. Give them a call. 216-713-0066. That's 216-713-0066.
Wrapping everything up here on a Wednesday night, 4th of January. Can't believe it's the 4th already. Sorry I missed you guys on Monday. You guys did a good job, though. You and Chris Aiken.
Thank you. Glad you're better, though, too. It's good to have you back.
Average live viewers looks like it went up tonight. Good show. Keep on keeping on. Scott says, thank you very much, Scott. Victor, like the joke. I don't thank everybody for joining us tonight. I do want to thank Tony Musachio for coming on live from Royal Breakfast and Lunch, or Royal Breakfast and More, sorry, in Broadview Heights on Broadview and 82.
Right. And from now on, this is when he should be on. The last 5 minutes of the show, so that we don't have to be hungry for 50 minutes after he hangs up.
Are you eating now? Did you already eat dinner? Or what are you doing?
No, I never have an appetite before a show, but I eat like a horse afterwards.
What are you having tonight?
I think I'm doing ham.
Ham, nice.
Yeah, ham and Oh no, actually, I'm doing shrimp with lemon garlic cream pasta sauce. So
they opened up this burrito place by me. It's not real expensive, so that's why I like it. But it's called Bubba-Coos.
Right.
And they have it's kind of like a Chipotle kind of thing, but better. Mm-hmm. So I can, instead of sour cream and stuff, you can get ranch, or you can get Caribbean jerk sauce and all different kinds of things on a burrito or a bowl, all that kind of stuff. So I think I'm going to check that place out tonight.
Do it.
That's very tasty. Prayers and thoughts. I know it sounds cliche because it is at this point, but go out to Damar Hamlin and hope that him and his family are okay. He said that was your daughter's birthday. She had a great birthday. Turned 16 on Monday.
Good for her.
She had a great time. Dad was sick, but that just meant Dad couldn't say a whole lot to her, so she was happy about that. Because I didn't have much of a voice. That's why I didn't do the show. But she was she was happy that Dad couldn't yell about anything, and she had a great time.
Good for her.
Great time out at Mike's place in Kent. Met the owner. He wants to come broadcast out there.
Yeah, I'll look forward to that when the weather changes. That's not a restaurant, man. That is an experience.
Hey, if you've never been to Mike's place in Kent, you gotta check that place out. It's absolutely fantastic. The menu is forever and a day long, and they have all kind of cool memorabilia there. It's really something to see. So check that place out.
Maybe with enough lead time, we can get a huge audience out there the night we broadcast from there.
That would be cool.
Live audience and take live comments and have people just walk up and be on the show.
Share. Let people know Seth is back. Yes. Share the podcast, broadcast, whatever you want to say. Share it. Share it all over the place. Share it to the left. Share it to the right. Share it.
He's right there.
Yeah, just share the podcast to everyone that you know. That's the way that we're
Send it around. We'll grow this. Absolutely.
Yeah. So seriously, share the podcast. Thank you for joining us tonight. God willing, we'll talk to you on Monday night. We'll have a whole lot of stuff for you.
Have a good weekend. Happy New Year. Keep on.
And we will talk to you later. Thanks for joining us.
You too. Bye, Seth.
Bye.